Hey, everybody. It's Scott and Matt. We're calling it Scott and Matt's Leadership Chat, right?
Right.
Scott and Matt's Leadership Chat. So, everybody, we're here today, Scott and Matt's Leadership Chat. We're going to talk about personal mission, vision, and values, something that's dear to our hearts. But before we do that, Matt, I have a rather serious question for you.
Please, Scotty, go ahead.
Do you notice anything different about me?
Well, when you turn your head like that, I reminisce of I believe it was the movie Jarhead that best described what you have going on up
You're
top
jealous
there.
because that is some sick flow, if I do say so myself. So I'm very impressed. We haven't been able to get haircuts here since November, so I have a fresh haircut and I'm feeling like $1,000,000, and I'm ready to shoot a great video on mission, vision, and values. So
Awesome. I couldn't be
I,
happier for you.
I know we've talked about this before. This is something that is dear to your heart. So can you just summarize for those listening at home at a high level, what would you describe as the overview of a personal mission, vision, and values for an individual or for a team?
Well, let's start with values. Even though you mentioned that last, values are why we do what we do, and it's generally our life experiences, and most often our most important values are set by the time we're at the age of 6. And I'm not a psychologist, but I stayed at a Super 8, so I can.
It's a
Um,
Holiday Inn. I stayed at a
yeah,
Holiday Inn, I think is what you're
yeah.
looking for.
But that being said, no matter what we do can be broken down, and why we do it is associated with a value. It's those things, kind of below when you look at an identity iceberg.
Okay.
It's that stuff that's not really easy to see. So when you're working with a coach, or coach is working with you, getting to your values is really important because it explains why you do what you do.
Okay.
Um, Mission is what we do in order to get to our vision. Our vision is some future state, and it's, Scott and Matt are going to have the greatest duo comedy business chat ever made. I give it, well, 2 weeks, but a year.
But that is our
And-
perfect future state that we're going to work towards,
right.
is the greatest comedy slash business chat on LinkedIn ever in infinity and beyond.
I like that part. I think he stole that from Buzz
You're
Lightyear, but
you're
that's
wicked,
okay.
wicked
I,
good.
I get I get the sentiment. So once your values are kind of flushed out, that determines then how you're going to satisfy those values is your mission. That's what you're doing and
So
what you're
your
trying to
mission,
achieve.
so your mission is your cause or the purpose you're working towards. So, for example, my mission or my purpose is I help or helping organizations, people and organizations achieve more. So my mission as a coach and trainer was be to help organizations and people achieve more. So that is what guides my efforts on a daily basis.
Right. Well, here, I'm going to share a little personal story. Early in
Please.
my banking career, I fulfilled my need to help people, and by actually helping customers and being a frontline technical expert, and doing a lot of business. As I became more proficient, I got a bigger team, et cetera, et cetera. What happened is one day I woke up and realized I wasn't fulfilled in that role anymore. I was fulfilling myself by providing the environment that was needed for my staff to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And that was a big aha moment because it really it then forced me to pick a different area to become proficient in. Um,
So is what you're saying is that before you were doing a job function and meeting roles and responsibilities, and your shift was really more thinking about your purpose and how you could help those around you succeed and grow as well.
yeah, that is a succinct way of putting it. But it was a big aha moment for me because it said, "Oh, I've developed. I now my role is what I feel I need to do in order to satisfy my values is operate at a different level." And
So mission then, to your point, is let's have leaders start to think about what they're doing, not so much in terms of their job function and meeting those functions, but think about a larger purpose, a larger mission, which is the cause or the purpose of building those around you. And that was your aha moment. And it changed your mindset and your approach to how you worked with your team.
Yeah, and there was no conflict between what the job is, the you know the on paper description of the job and what I was doing.
It was just
Uh,
your approach or mindset to that job description.
that's right, and also how I achieved things between my team for my area of the business became different. Instead of being such a frontline guy, I became a back of the bus helping other people be
Great
successful.
example. I love that. Back of the bus, helping others succeed. So that's the mission, which is your cause or your why. We've talked a bit about vision, but you're saying that the vision is your future, ideal future state that you want to get to as an individual or as a team.
Yeah, you got one? You want to share yours?
You know what? I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually still working on what my vision statement would look like. And
All
it's
right.
interesting because I know we've worked with people on this, but I find that what's interesting is that our brains aren't always structured in a way to think about what we do in mission, vision, and values. So it's an interesting exercise to help people go through it. It is interesting when you see them. Like I remember one time when we were in a group with a bunch of people, and a gentleman, his job in the oil and gas was to make sure that the road to the lease to the equipment was well maintained and cleared in the winter and whatnot. And if he looked at his job description, he would say, I maintain the road. But after we went through the exercise, he said, I clear the way for other success. So to me, that was a perfect example of how you take a thing from a functional perspective and you put it more towards a mission or a purpose. And he walked out of there a couple of inches taller and pretty proud and excited to share that purpose or mission with his team.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Because he found that what he was doing aligned with something that he valued. And it's important that we do that because it allows us to celebrate our wins and or change what we're doing slightly in order to make it align better. Or if we're having trouble in our life, sometimes we're out of sync. We're not working towards or with our values, and it's time to make a change. So that future state, we won't worry so much about that. That's Scott and Matt's leadership chat is the number one viewed LinkedIn celebrity business hilarity chat. But in the meantime, our vision, our mission is to produce these videos, have fun, make sure that your hair is perfect because we've got to get people looking at your hair and not the rest of your face.
Oh
And
boy.
just joking. That was kind of mean. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. So we've talked about mission. We've talked about vision as an ideal future state that you want to work towards. And I know that you're very passionate about value. So talk to us and explain why values are so important as an individual and really kind of understanding those values, but also how they're valuable for a team of people working together.
Well, they're going to be fundamentally different, right? Because values are really personal. Okay. So if I want to talk about values for a team, some of the biggest things that are going to come out of that are some of your most important ones. It could be honesty, it could be innovation, it could be a number of different things, but you will agree on them. What's important is that nobody's values are conflicted.
Compromised.
Right? Compromise. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
So,
or actually in direct violation. Right?
Right.
If what you're doing and the team that you're working for is doing something that's in direct violation with your own personal values, chances are you're going to need to make a change.
So there's going to be some friction, and maybe that's what happens if an organization or a team finds that they're not aligned. Maybe there is some conflict, as you say, below the surface there, where there is a misalignment of the values.
Which is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get people aligned, right? And help them understand why they do the things that they do and why it does align with what they're, or if it truly doesn't align with them, that's when people look to make opportunities to do something else that's more in tune with what's important to them.
So my guess is that people are probably watching this right now and thinking one of two things. Man, I'm really hungry. Or they're thinking, okay, that's great. Scott and Matt, but how do we get there? So one of the things that comes to mind, and we've done this before, is when you get together with your team, when you brainstorm on a bunch of values, and there's no values that can be wrong, and you come up with a list of however many, and you bring that down to 5 that you can all agree on. So a great exercise to do with teams is to go through the exercise, agree on 5.
Yeah.
Much like organizations may have safety moments, whether you're in trucking or oil and gas or manufacturing, I've heard of organizations that have values moments. So what they'll say is, hey, Matt, would you care to share with the group an example this week of where you live the value of teamwork? And you might share that example of a best practice, and people go, well, that's a great example. So it keeps everybody aligned on what's important to the group. And it gives you a chance to reward people for exhibiting and exercising that particular value at that time.
I think you're absolutely right, Scott.
Okay, so here we go. So we talked about personal mission or purpose, which is your cause or your purpose, your why. We've talked about your vision, which is your ideal future state. And we've talked about your values that guide your behavior. And Matt shared an example of how when he changed his mindset, he was even more effective as a leader and as a manager supporting people. So hopefully you've gotten some value from this discussion about mission, vision, and values. And until next time, this is Scott and Matt's Holopty Wagon. No, what are you calling it? Scott and Matt's Leadership Chat. I got it. So until next time, this is Scott and Matt's Leadership Chat. Stay safe, everybody.
Don't call us to cater a Ukrainian wedding. I'm sorry, that's just not going to turn out well.
But we do like eating halapchis.
No, of course we do.
Okay. See you, Matt. Take care, buddy.
Bye, Scott.